Hey guys, welcome back to another Book Miss video. I'm Callie.
I'm Brittany.
And I'm Bean.
So today we're going to talk about we each have a lot of backlisted books on our bookshelves. So these are kind of the top 5 that we want to tackle in the year of 2020. So the first one, Brittany and I actually share, and that is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I really like the circus atmosphere. I don't like going to them, but I like reading about them because clowns are creepy. But I've heard really good things, and I read the Caraval series earlier in 2019, and I loved the atmosphere, and I heard that this is similar, but with a more adult vibe. So I really want to be able to get to this book next year.
I've heard a lot about it, and I actually was in Target, and I read the first 2 pages, and I was like, ooh, I want this, but my bank account was like, not today, Brittany. So I'm gonna pick up a copy soon and add it to my TBR shelf.
The first book that I'm planning on reading is actually technically a reread for me, but I'm hoping to get through The Lord of the Rings. So I have recently read The Hobbit. I read The Hobbit, I believe, a year and a half ago or so. And then I had started the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and then the second book that we had was Lost. And so I couldn't continue with it because I was being stubborn. And so now I just want to reread, and I got these new copies from Book Outlet that I am absolutely loving. They're shiny, and I would really like to reread this series.
So the next book on my list is Falling Kingdoms by Morgan Rhodes. This is a high epic fantasy series that I have been slowly collecting over the past past year, I guess. All I know is that it is a high epic fantasy with multiple characters, multiple point of views, and it's magical. There's assassins, there's princesses. It just sounds like everything I could ever want. And this is another one of the series that I want to tackle that I'm just playing catch up with all the very popular YA series that I missed while I was, in school. So this one is next on my list. I think I am only missing one more book in the series. So
that is a complete series.
It is,
too,
and it's complete.
which is always good.
Mm-hmm.
So the next book that I plan on reading is Rachel Hartman's Tess of the Road. This is a companion to her Serafina duology, so I'm probably going to read those 2 first, but this is the one that I found first. This is the one I'm most looking forward to, if that makes sense. And it follows a girl who meets a dragon on a road. And dragons. If you guys have been following us for our time, you know that I'm obsessed with dragons, so that's why this book caught my eye.
The next book I will be reading is a sequel, and I'm going to be getting into Godsgrave by Jay Kristoff. I read Nevernight, and I loved it. I read it back when it came out, so I'll probably reread the first one as well. But I absolutely love these covers, and I have heard nothing but good and heartbreaking things about this trilogy. And the last one just came out this year, so next year this paperback version should come out, and I'm super excited because they're so pretty.
They are.
I want all of my books to match.
The next book that I want to tackle is Spindle by Lexa Hillyer. This is a Sleeping Beauty retelling, and one of the very first retellings that ever caught my eye. I really like the darkness. So this follows 2 sisters. So one is Sleeping Beauty and the other is trying to save her sister. And it is a duology, and it keeps just sitting in my shelves, just looking at me longingly. And I really want to get to it because I've heard very mixed reviews on this. I've heard people either love it or hate it. And Sleeping Beauty is actually one that I don't see retold all that often, so I'm very interested to see where this takes that story.
The next book that I'm going to be diving into is actually the first of the series, The Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. Callie's told me about it, and I really want to read it. I just haven't gotten a chance to. I'm slowly but surely collecting all of the books in the series, and I kind of want to just have them on my shelves before jumping into this. I really enjoy Marissa Meyer's writing style. I'm looking forward to finishing up her Renegade series. Hopefully by the time this videos come out, I have a very large collection of series that I want to wrap up before that.
The next book that I'm going to get into is And I Darken by Kirsten White. Now, this is a Vlad the Impaler gender swap retelling, and it is a trilogy, and I started it a while ago, and I wasn't in the right mood for a historical fiction, so I didn't get into it, but I really want to read this series. I have heard wonderful things about it, and Kirsten White's writing is she's such an amazing writer in my opinion.
All right, so the next one that I want to read is another series that I want to catch up on that is completed, and that is The Kiss of Deception by Mary E. Pearson. This has early 2010 YA trope written all over it. It's about a princess who flees on her wedding day, and then magic-y things ensue. And I've heard really good things about this series. I've heard that this one has started a good amount of tropes and epic fantasies, so I'm interested to kind of see where those tropes came from. And there are just some days where I just need some tropey, trashy YA.
The next books, I guess, on my list are Mackenzie Lee's Montague siblings, starting with Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue. I've heard nothing but good things about these books, and I'm looking forward to reading them, starting with this one. This one's actually already on the top part of my TBR shelf, so I'll probably get to this maybe even before the end of 2019.
All right, the next book that I will be reading is The Book Thief by Marcus Zuzak, because I am trash and have not read this book yet.
It's on my list too.
There you go. If you live under a rock, this book takes place in World War II, and it is told from the point of view of death. Right there, I'm sold.
It's awesome.
It's
one of my favorite books.
It is considered a modern classic, so it is one of those books that now everyone is reading, and I really want to read it, and I've heard really great things about it.
All right, so the last book on my list is to read Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. I was very hesitant to read this because I didn't care for Brandon Sanderson's series Mistborn. I attempted to read it a couple years ago and didn't care for it. But after reading the Illuminae trilogy and Aurora Rising, I got into a big sci-fi, and I heard that this has even surpassed the Illuminae series, so I really want to check this out and see. This follows a girl named Spencer whose dreams of being a pilot, but her dad was like a deserter, and so she has to try and work past that in order to succeed in her goals. And it just sounds awesome. And it's a Charlie Bowater cover.
Mm-hmm.
So the next book is the first in a series. It's Ruthless by Lexi Blake, and it is an adult romance. This I found on Book Outlet. I got the first two and then the third one in separate orders, and it just sounds really interesting. It takes place in a law office, and it just sounds kind of fun and sexy, so this is on my list.
So the next book I'm kind of cheating on, as Callie likes to point out. I am cheating a little bit on this one because this book came out in 2019. It's Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. Yes, I'm going to do Tome Topple next year, just so y'all know. This is a big chunker of a book. It's 800 pages, I want to say, 1,000, somewhere around there. And it's about dragons, and there's a queendom, and the queen has to have a daughter, and she doesn't like guys, so I just really want to read this book. But I haven't had time to this year, or the drive to this year, I guess. I don't know. And I really don't have time to before the end of the year. So this is going to be high on my list for next year, because next year it will be a backlisted book, technically. And I'm going to go with it.
So those are our top 5 books that are the highest on our TBRs for the start of 2019. Like I said at the beginning, we have a ton of backlisted books that we want to get to. I know, at least I do.
I do too.
So there's just a lot of books out there, and as much as I enjoy reading books that come out that year, it's fun to kind of go back and see what the writing style and what was popular back a couple of years ago. So we're all really excited to get to these. Hopefully we do get to these. You know, we get distracted by new and shiny books. So, oops.
Yeah,
so
that's a thing.
So I think that's going to be it for this video. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. It is Bookmas, so we're posting every day, but typically we post every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday.
And if you want to be notified whenever we post videos, which would be a lot this month, but you can hit the little bell icon down below and you'll be notified whenever we post these videos.
And be sure to follow us on Instagram. Our individual and joint accounts will be linked below, as well as our Goodreads accounts.
And we will see you guys tomorrow.
Bye!